super black runoff here. Super black. Collecting it. And we have Smokey having fun with barking at the neighbors. You gonna get him? Oh, he's gonna get him. Alright, let's set that to the side here. One-handed filming is always good times. And this is the very first pitcher. We are vorlofting. I will do 3 of these, which will be 6 liters. I do not shut my spigot off, I just let it run. And that's why I have an extra container here. Alright, we will do 6 liter Vorloft, and then we'll start collecting our wort. And you can see the rice hulls floating in here. I've heard horror stories about stuck sparges on this dry stout recipe because of where you use the 2 pounds of flaked barley and you powderize the black malt. So that's good times having that gum up your either your manifold or your false bottom. So we went with pound of rice hulls to stop that from happening. So we will Vorloft here for a bit, and then I'll come back when we got our wort collected and we're coming up to our boil. Cheers. Alright, we hit our numbers. 1035 pre-boil gravity. That's good. Right on track to hit our number of, oh, what is this thing supposed to finish out at? 1045, I think. I got my wort collected here. And in case you're wondering why I have my pot on, I did not take a proper inventory of my hops. So I needed about 2.5 ounces of East Kent Golding, and I had 1.1 ounce. So I've got everything collected, and girlfriend's gonna save the day for me. She's swinging by one of the bottle shops in Winston-Salem, City Beverage, and picking up 2 ounces of East Kent Golding. So I'm just gonna wait till she gets home before I fire this thing up, because they can bring this thing up to a boil in about 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna hold off until she gets here with the hops, and so when I hit my hop break, I will be able to toss them in. I think I'm just gonna use all the fresh ones. The ones I had were they had a little age on them, so that worked out for the best anyway. But let this be a lesson to you. Do not go by your memory, what you think you have left in the freezer. Make sure you always go back there and put your hands on them and weigh them before your brew day, so you won't have the problem I'm having right now. That's probably going to take about 20 minutes on my brew day, but I don't give a shit. It ain't no big deal. It's a pretty simple beer. Got everything collected. Basically now it's just wait for the hops. Hit the hop break, throw them in. It's a 40 IBU beer, so at 20 minutes till 40 minutes into the boil, throw the wort chiller in. 15 minutes left, toss in the World Flock and the yeast nutrient. And that's it. Cool it down. It's like the damn easy, other than the step mash, which wasn't really that big of a deal. It was just that was where I had the rice hulls in. It was the absolute thickest mash I've ever done. I actually had to add an extra quart of water to it to get everything saturated. It wound up being at like just supposed to be 120. I got 122 and rolled with it. Just kind of took the mash paddle and pushed everything down in there and stirred it up. It's so damn thick you couldn't even hardly stir it. To do the protein rest, and did that for 20 minutes, and then added a couple gallons of boiling water to it and brought it up to 150, mashed it for an hour, and you already seen, I think I showed some Warlock and Fly Sparge, and now I'm just waiting on the hops. So once the hops show up, we'll be good to go. Rock and roll. Okay, I'm using some hops I've never used before. Apparently they've changed their supplier, BSG. Got some East Kent Goldings. Girlfriend just showed up with them because I forgot to check, make sure I had them. These are 6.3 alpha, a little bit higher than my other ones. So I'm only going to have to use 2 ounces of this. There's one. And we're already past the hop break, by the way. Nice spicy smell. Actually smell pretty good. And in with the other one, this will target about, those two will target about 40 IBUs, and then I've got like a 0.1 over here I need to do 103, good enough. Alright, that will target our 41 IBUs. Now it's just basically let this thing run for 20 or 40 minutes, then put the wort chiller in, let it run for 5, whirl flock and yeast nutrient, which I already got out over there, and then chill it. And we're done. Cheers. Got a 1043 using the refractometer. This is 1042, so it's a temperature correction. It's supposed to be in 1045, so just a little low, but not much. I ain't gonna worry about it. Here we are the next day. We had massive pukage. I actually had to take a spare. Got both those hoses running off into one growler. I had set the bucket down inside of that tote, filled it up full of water, so it would help keep it cool. And I'm glad I did, because I got up this morning and it was puking out the side of the lid. Big wad about the size of a softball foam coming out the side, and they had ran down the side of the bucket. And luckily that toad had caught all of it. I don't know if the blow-off hose stopped up. I tapped on it and it started going again. Maybe some junk got in the bottom and it stopped it up where it wasn't enough pressure to blow it through, but it was getting ready to blow the lid off. So I think going forward I'm going to just fix all my lids where they've got 2 blow-off tubes on it, and just run it into one growler. That's working well. This thing started thumping last night about 3 or 4 hours after I pitched the yeast. It's just going crazy. It's small beer, go figure. 2 liter starter on a small beer. Those are the ones you think that aren't going to do anything, and they're the ones that always make the big mess. So I got done cleaning, took some Star Sand in a spray bottle and just doused the outside of the bucket down real good and washed all the, luckily it was easy to see because it's a stout. Rinsed it off real good. Filled up another tote full of water. Just basically well, first I swapped the lids and put the dual blow-off hose lid on it, and then put it in the growler, picked it up, moved it over into the other tote so I could clean the bucket off some more. Dumped all the crap and the beer and everything that was inside that other tote, because it's a little taller and it goes up further on the sides with less water than the other one does. So I cleaned it, put the bucket back in the blue one, filled it back up, and now we're good to go. And you can see this thing's still just puking out like crazy out of both hoses. And that's pretty much come out of both of them like that. Luckily, I'm handy. I had a drill and the right size drill bit and some extra grommets and extra hose. This is why you guys should always have extra everything on hand at your house or your shop, or wherever you got your brewery set up. Because if you got extra, you can fix it yourself and you're saved. If not, then you got to run out, go get shit, come back, and then it's sitting there making a mess the whole time you're out running your errands, getting your stuff. I've only ever had this happen one other time before, and it finally calmed down to just one hose. And I've kind of been thinking maybe it might be a good idea to put a bigger hose on it, or put another. So those are 1/2-inch hoses. So going forward, we'll have a 1-inch vent with 2 1/2-inch hoses on it, on all of them, whether it needs it or not, because I don't like getting up in the morning on my day off and cleaning up a damn big mess. I'm glad to see the beer's really active and the yeast are kicking ass, but I was wanting to fix some breakfast and drink me some coffee, not spend an hour cleaning up a damn mess. So going forward, we'll use dual blow-off hoses, and hopefully won't have this issue again. Cheers. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Cheers.